Good morning, everybody. Today's flight is the Great Falls towards Calgary, Canada. We are ready to taxi. Departure on runway 03. So release parking brakes. Thrust at 30%. Let's go. So we will climb on the runway heading of 033 and then turning left towards the VOR Yankee Kilo Lima. So taxi, we go here a little to the right, then immediately to the left. On Alpha. Sharp turn to the left and hold the way down till holding point runway 03. Thrust at 30%. So local time is 5 o'clock 56 minutes, just before the sunrise. Zulu time 13:57. So on the radio page we have Golf Tango Foxtrot on nav1. It will be behind us, and on the nav2 page or VOR we will have the Yankee Quebec Lima. And Yankee Quebec Lima, believe it or not, it's called Lethbridge. Unpronounceable. Lethbridge. Lethbridge. Nothing to do with Yankee Quebec Lima. Come on. So it is a rather short flight. It's probably around 260 nautical miles, so slightly over 1 hour. Taking into account the climb phase and the descent phase, limited to 250 knots. Thrust idle, going a little fast, 25 knots, 27 knots. So here comes the holding point. So select runway turn off light and the landing lights as we are taking off immediately without delay. So auto brakes on reject takeoff set. Flaps 5 set, and altimeter 2974 set, altitude 3660, and airport elevation is 3557. all is good. Passing now the holding point and entering the runway. And we are ready to go. So heading 033. Thrust at 40%. Thrust stable. Takeoff power set. Auto throttle on,
80 knots.
armed, 80 knots checked,
V1.
rotate, pitch 5, continue,
Positive rate.
pitch 10, why is this throttle going off? I should not use it.
$400.
So let's put the auto
1000.
pilot on. Flaps 2. Flaps up. So we go to the VOR Golf Tango Foxtrot 19 nautical mile, and we are just passing the clouds now. That's very nice. Increase the speed to 250. Great Falls 9 nautical mile. Auto brakes off, gear off. Climbing steadily till 9,000 feet. Great Falls 13 nautical mile. 5 miles to go. And at that point we should turn left on 319 heading. Leveling at now at 9,000 feet. And the Great Falls is 16.5 nautical mile. no signal from Lethbridge. (18 nautical mile now, 1 to go). In at 0.5 we can start a turn. 319. Let's go 315 to cope with the wind. And when we are on that heading, we can climb to flight level 240. So climbing now, flight level 240, and we can turn off the landing lights, runway turn off light, logo taxi light, ignition switches to off, logo light, wheel light, and seatbelt signs on auto. And as we pass 10,000 feet, we can increase the speed to 285. Still no sign of Lethbridge. After Lethbridge, the next VOR is already Vancouver. Oh, not Vancouver. That's for tomorrow. Calgary. Indeed, tomorrow will be Calgary to Vancouver. Slightly longer, probably a little over 300 nautical mile. So we have the green banana indicating the
Ladies and gentlemen, please
top
continue
of
to
climb.
fasten seatbelt sign until the captain has switched it off. We do recommend for your confident safety that you keep your seatbelt
In around
securely
30
fastened
miles.
throughout your flight. There is a call bell, reading light and fresh air vent in the panel just above your head, and we'd like to remind you that this is a strictly non-smoking flight, and also it's fitted with smoke detectors. We invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy your flight with us.
So still no sign of the Lethbridge VOR. That's probably again a VOR with a range of only 80 miles. That's my assumption anyway. Passing now 17,000 feet for flight level 240. We can already select the standard pressure, as we will not stop below 18,000 feet. So we can check the transition level at Calgary. Probably it's the same. On the forecast page of the descent, yes, you have a transition level, flight level 180. So the airport elevation is 3557, so it's set. And we are planning to land on runway 29. So it will be very easy, in fact, on this heading of VOR course. We will intercept the ILS on 286. So what we can do is, in the arrival, we can select ILS 29, yes, probably from the Calgary. Oh, that's the VO NDB. Let's not do that. Just select so we will not go all the way till Calgary VOR, but we will turn sooner. So I will just use that radial in the radio page. So ILS 29 is 110.9er, 1286 degrees, and India Alpha Quebec as identified. The runway is 8,000 feet runway, so it is probably just for auto brakes too, but that's what we will use. Now we are approaching the flight level 240, and that will be our cruising flight level. Altitude acquired, and altitude hold. So let's go to VNAV speed. Using VNAV mode, VNAV speed will be 302. And now we are getting the Lethbridge VOR, so let's switch it on. 11570. Next VOR on F2 will be Calgary. Go to the VOR page and engage VORLOC. Ooh. So Lethbridge is 76.9. And we can already tune the ILS because it will not be too long before we go to descend. So 110.9, and this one should be Calgary 116.7. So on the progress page we have an arrival at Calgary at 1443 with remaining 3 ton 9 of fuel. 1443 13, that's 10-20 minutes. That's a little bit optimist. So 62 nautical mile to Lethbridge. After that we continue on this course towards Calgary, and just before the Calgary VOR we will turn left to intercept the ILS runway 29. So we will have a nice 30 degrees angle to intercept the ILS. Of course we will be coming from the left. What I mean is we will catch the ILS from the left. So still cruising at 240, and Lethbridge is 52.5 nautical mile. And the top of the sun is appearing now in the display after Lethbridge VOR, which makes sense as the distance to the airport is only 152 nautical mile, and we still have nearly 47 nautical mile till Lethbridge. So descending foreseen in 60 miles. Lethbridge is 42 nautical mile away. So we have already 30 minutes since the taxi, including the taxi in the Great Falls. It's not too bad. So we have 140 nautical mile to go. If we put the Great Falls we have done 103 nautical mile, so we're nearly at the midpoint. And what we can do now is put some rings around the runway. So landing is runway 29. First ring is at 4 miles. We place a second ring at 10 miles and a third ring at 20 miles. Lethbridge 30 nautical mile. Top of descent in the FMC is in 56 nautical mile at 14:30. So 7 minutes from now. So yesterday arrival was incredible with this plateau just before the runway. So we had to dive to the runway at 2000 feet per minute, and at the last second re-establish or arrest the descent to land. Incredible. It was a little bit absurd anyway, but so Lethbridge is now 19 nautical mile away. So as you can see here, this is the 20-mile ring, this is the 40-mile ring, and then we have the top of descent. So in case we do not receive the signal, and that seems to be the case, from Calgary, we just continue on this radial after Lethbridge until we receive the signal from Calgary. So we do not touch anything. It's the same course, 319. So when we pass the VOR, the needle will switch 180 degrees, and instead of following the 319 course, we will follow the 319 radial from the VOR. Now it seems that the needle will switch. Let's watch it. And there it turns. But the plane continues straight on. And it now re-engaged the 319 radial. And the DME starts to increase. So 94 nautical mile, so 24 times 3 is 72. So let's say in 5 miles we can start to descend. We already see the 20-mile ring around the runway. So disengage VNAV and select speed 250. Reduce the altitude to 10,000 feet initially. Let's go down 1,800 feet. Outside temperature minus 22, so we might put some engine anti-ice as the cloud base is rather thick. And we do have now the Calgary VOR, so let's go to heading mode, switch to Calgary, and re-engage VOLOC. Now that we have tuned Calgary, we can also tune the ILS on the standby 110.9er, and the frequency for Yankee Charlie is 344. That's an NDB. That we can select on nav2. below flight level 200, we can select seatbelt signs on. You can also select the ILS on nav2 as it is not used anymore. So some altitude, so at Yankee Charlie we should be at 5,000. So let's continue the descent till 5,000. But probably we can reduce the descent rate. So the altimeter is 2985. Let's select 5,500. So that will be 2,000 AGL. So this pointer is not the NDB pointer, except now. I was about to say we do not have a signal, but we do. So it's practically straight ahead. So at that point we will intercept the ILS. So we can select auto brakes too. Seatbelt sign is set. Outside temperature is -15. So the winds at Calgary is 310 at 3. So it's calm. Wind is calm. So passing 13,500 for 5,500 feet. Altimeter 2985. So at this point we can select heading mode, and we can select 325, and we want to intercept the ILS at 10 miles probably, so that's the second range wing. (5,000 feet). So what we can put on nav1 now is the ILS 110.9, so it's both sides, and select the course 286, still no sign from the ILS. Approaching 10,000 feet. At that point we will decelerate till 230 knots. And select the landing lights on. So passing 10,000 feet, new speed is 230, and the landing lights are on, and the same for the start switches to continuous, logo light on, wheel well light on. So a little more than 20 miles to intercept the ILS. If we ever get a signal, otherwise it will be difficult. Of course we can always use the NDB. As an indication of where the runway is. So when the NDB pointer will join the course towards the runway, we should be on the ILS. And it seems that we are receiving an ILS now. India Alpha Quebec, and that is the correct one, heading 286. So let's continue to reduce the speed to 220 knots. And when we are within the 20 miles, select VOLOC as we are on an intercept heading to the localizer. Current speed 240, it will reduce when we level at 5,500, which is 1,200 feet remaining. So we'll have a long time to reduce. In fact, we could reduce to 180 for the ILS in one go.
1,000 to go.
So let's reduce the speed to 180 when able.
$2,500.
So we are leveling now 5,500. So 2,000 feet AGL. Just a little bit low, but so speed 230, flaps 1. To 10, flaps 2. One 90, flaps 5, select Vorlock. So thrust at 62%, auto throttle off, and thrust at 62. Well, 59, probably good enough. So very close now to intercept the localizer, still no sign of it. And no DME, that's more annoying. Maybe there is no DME on this ILS. And there is the localizer coming. Turning onto the localizer, and we confirm that the NDB pointer nearly matches the course to the runway. Approach mode armed. So we are now established on the localizer, waiting for the glide. And it seems that we have the runway inside. 10 nautical mile across the ring. So we can now reduce the speed to 160 knots. Gear down. Gear down 3 green, flaps 15. And we have a glide. Descending now with the glide. Flaps 25. Flaps 30. Maintaining 150. In fact, I did not bother to check the 144 is the ref speed. So fully established on ILS, passing the NDB now. Autopilot off. There should be very little correction at this point. We are a little bit high.
1,000.
Speed is good. Still a little bit high. Too much to the left. Still high. Doesn't want to descend. Incredible. I don't believe this ILS is correct.
$500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20.
Closing thrust.
10.
And reverses.
Knots.
Reverses stowed. It's a high-speed exit.
Thank you for flying Ryanair.
Auto brakes
year,
off.
over 90% of our flights arrived on time. We hope you enjoyed yours, and we look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Ryanair. Low fares, made simple.
Landing lights off.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to this airport. For your
Runway
own
turn off.
comfort and safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt.
Ignition switches off. Strobe lights off.
Please refrain from smoking until you have reached the designated smoking area, which is well outside the terminal building. On behalf of your crew on board today, we'd like to thank you for choosing to fly with us, and we wish you a safe onward journey.
Flaps up. and select also the starting the APU. 1, 2, 3, 4. Director off. Okay, we have some stands on the left. So we have to cross the runway and then to the stand. So crossing 17 right. Let's expedite this. And we can turn left, the second left probably. Onto hotel. Right onto Hotel Delta. Come on, truck, give way or move. So let's stop here. brakes on, parking brake set, APU gen on, cutting engine number 1 and cutting engine number 2, and 1 rotation, diminish, fuel pumps off, taxi light off, engine bleeder off, its packs off, fasten seat belts off, IRS off, window heat off, pitot heat off, engine anti-ice off, doesn't seem that we have ground power available, so let's require ground power. Ground power on, APU off, and transponder standby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Calgary. Local time is 6:58. 1 hour 8 flight, total flight time. See you tomorrow for a flight from Calgary towards Vancouver. Bye bye.